how do we reinvent the business model, how do we reinvent the technology to actually not only stop the decline in gold production in AGA, but to seriously look at the opportunities to increase gold production.
We do realize that progressively it's going to get more expensive for us to operate, more riskier for us to operate as we go deeper. Therefore, it is important that we go out of our own scope and think about innovation and how we do things better.
We also define innovation as being research, development, and implementation. If you're not implementing, it's not an innovation.
It is critical and important that we keep innovating in the mining industry.
There is enormous resource here, an enormous endowment, but the current technology that we were using was just not allowing it to be economic.
The mineralisation and ore bodies are getting deeper, they're becoming more difficult, and they're becoming more dilute. Open innovation has a lot of advantages to achieving things in the short term.
You know, we start to work together, pool our resources, and share our ideas, and look at what are the generic enabling technologies within the mining business that all mining companies could take advantage of.
Society now expects more things from mining companies, and they expect resources to be extracted safely and efficiently with minimum impact on the environment. What's needed here is to remove people from some of the hazardous environments. Then there's going to need a high proportion of robotisation of mining equipment and automation. One of the challenging aspects of automation and robotic in mining compared with manufacturing and mineralisation is that in mining we need to bring the technology to the material. It is a significant challenge to introduce automation and robot activities in that type of environment.
In a mine you're dealing with different materials and changing environments, so you need real-time closed-loop robotic system interpreting what it's encountering and then adjusting. NASA's experience could perhaps help, and that would be in the latest type of instruments that we're using on Mars that we're sending with the Curiosity rover. So on the Curiosity rover we have an instrument that sends a laser out over 7 meters and reads the signal to determine the chemical mineralogical structure of those materials. There's an interesting difference there between Mars and a gold mine, because for Mars, if something goes wrong with the rover, you can't go up and fix it. I think where you have the ability in a mine to be able to go down, recover, diagnose, and repair, it strikes me that you can use more advanced, more recent state-of-the-art methods for the navigation, the interpretation, and than we would use on Mars. This is the perfect environment to prototype the advanced systems that we would use in outer space.
The technology allows us to be a lot more efficient because of its continuous nature. All the interruptions are not there anymore. The technology allows us to mine all the gold because it is more efficient, allows us to go deeper and mine where we were not able to mine before because it was cost prohibitive. The activities of people, the feelings of people and the requirements of people need to be considered at the same time as the technology is being developed.
We need to understand that we live in a country whereby there is unemployment, there is lack of education. How do we string that into the innovation conversation?
The people that now are doing the mining can be operators of the machines, they can do maintenance, they can work in control rooms. And it will allow us to develop the infrastructure around the mine in a much greater way so that there is supporting functions and economies around the mine that the mine needs.
We actually removed operators that sat in a machine for 8 hours a day complaining about back problems, and then we put them in an air-conditioned room. We gave them screens and said, this is how you operate the machine. And they loved us because from a economics perspective, from a work easier perspective was better. And by the way, they could start earning much more money than what they used to earn working underground. Therefore, we're trying to always look at the balances from a socio-economic perspective.
The purpose is to ensure that our communities are better off for AngloGold Ashanti operating within them, and the technology is just a piece that allows us specifically to address the health and safety issues, and it allows us to specifically address the financial stability of our operations. You know, it's not something that's out 20 or 30 years. These are things that are expected to happen over the next couple of years. We have a new end-to-end solution that's built on existing technology. We're busy over the next 2 years prototyping each individual major piece of the mining process, and we're looking at how we link it together. So, you know, this time 2 years from now, we'd be ready to start to build, you know, the first AGA end-to-end solution, which would be a continuous non-blasting operation.
So I'm quite optimistic that in 20 years' time, we'll be running these mines way different. And I think the vision we've put on the table is attainable.
What AGA is committed to is being part of the high-teching of the mining industry, where we are known as high-tech innovators.